Good morning, my esteemed viewers. You're welcome to today's broadcast. Today is the 15th of July, 2025, and Buhari will be buried today in Katsina State. I repeat, former President Muhammadu Buhari will be buried in Katsina State today. A lot of dignitaries are currently in Katsina State. All flights to Katsina State have been filled, jam-packed. I tell you, the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will be present in Katsina State. The body of Buhari would arrive Katsina by 12 noon and they will proceed. 3 African presidents will be there live and direct. Now, there's a question begging for answers. Is Buhari an African hero? That's the question. Is Buhari a true African hero? If you're watching this broadcast, if you agree with this take, I want you to put your comments on the comment section. If you disagree that Buhari is an African hero, also put your comments. Give us your reasons why you believe that Buhari is an African hero or is not an African hero. Northerners have said that Buhari to them is an African hero. There's a post causing controversy on social media. Now, this person says, real African heroes never die. And he put the picture of Thomas Sankara, Muammar Gaddafi, Kwame Nkrumah, and Muhammadu Buhari. Now, if you look at the reactions, you know that Africans have their own perspective of who an African icon, a true African leader is. Somebody is saying that you don't have to put Buhari's picture beside any of these leaders. Buhari is for the establishment. These guys fought and they died for African liberation. Buhari is nowhere close to people that fought for African liberation. I don't want to read the comments because most of them are really insulting. Somebody says, take Buhari picture out. You are just making jest of the real heroes. If Buhari is an African hero, let's get his legacies. What he fought for. What he really did. There's a difference between a Nigerian president and an African icon. Some people, they can be seen as a good president within their countries. But when we talk about Africa, it is a different ball game entirely. So do you agree that that Buhari should be put side by side beside these reported African heroes like Thomas Sankara, Muammar Gaddafi, and Kwame Nkrumah? Now, I have said this before. What happened with Buhari tells us how the Fulani were able to conquer the Hausas. Yes, what happened, the whole thing that happened around Buhari tells us how the Fulani were able to conquer northern Nigeria. Like I said, the last time I did a broadcast, 3 most popular figures in the history of northern Nigeria, all of them are Fulanis. If you're an Hausa watching this broadcast, 3 most popular, important figures, most popular. We can have other popular Hausa figures, but the most top 3, there's no Hausa person in the whole of northern Nigeria. It tells you how influential the Fulani is and how they have been able to take over the political space of northern Nigeria. Look at Kano State, look at Katsina State. Is Katsina State a Fulani state? Is Kano State an Hausa state? Okay, we'll come to that later. If we talk about African icons are people who fought for the liberation of the African people. Those who fought for independence of the African people. Independent from what? Why are they fighting for Africans? So that Africans will be free from the colonial slavery, imperialism, colonialism. Look at Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traore. He's seen generally, maybe in Nigeria, some people don't see them. Nigeria is a divided state. We don't agree on one thing. A particular section of people don't really see, majority from a particular section in Nigeria don't see Ibrahim Traore as an African leader. Other people see him. So there's a difference between somebody is seen as the leader of a country and an African leader. So did Buhari fight for the liberation of the Nigerian people from the imperialists or the colonialists? Or they were in bed with the imperialists and colonialists? Because I want to make it clear whether Buhari is an African icon is somebody who is fighting for the interest of Africa. We know that the West does not want Africa to be industrialized. In fact, the West wants to police everybody and everywhere. We know that. We know that we needed leaders who could stand up to the West. Look at what Ghana president is doing. Look at what Mali president is doing. Look at what Ibrahim Traore is doing. These are people that are fighting for African interest. The West wants to make sure that Africa does not unite to achieve its purpose. Africa has majority of natural resources in the world, but it is largely poor and underdeveloped because of the systems introduced by the West to make sure that Africa does not survive. Africa is not industrialized. Africa is not developed. So, should we bring Buhari, take Buhari and put him, what has he done? What are the legacies of Buhari? Now, when people say that, don't speak ill of the dead, don't speak ill of the dead, that's a different ball game. As a leader, what has Buhari done? Somebody says Buhari, for him to qualify to become an African leader, somebody said Buhari built the second Niger bridge. Buhari built the second Niger bridge. I don't know how that connects. He might do well for the Southeast by building that bridge. I passed through that bridge when I traveled. It was okay. It was something commendable. But that does not qualify him as, personally, that does not qualify him as an African hero. It can be a hero to Northerners because, like I said, three most influential persons, Ahmadu Bello, Uthman Danfodio, and Buhari, in Northern Nigeria. To Northern Nigeria, it can be that influential. But when it comes to African leadership, at what point has Buhari fought for African liberation? What are his ideas? What are his legacies? Just Tinubu, his tenure in ECOWAS. Look at what happened to ECOWAS. Is it 3 or 4 countries? Just ECOWAS, they just left because there's no clear leadership that represent the interests of Africans. Today, our refineries are being manned by the white. Most of our resources are being drilled by the white. Even your Dangote refinery, if they come out white engineers for there, man, una no go fit operate am. Forget all the book when I read or the universities una have. Una no go fit operate am. It is how bad Africans are when it comes to being developed or being industrialized. They make sure that they take your best minds out of Nigeria. What has Buhari contributed in all of this? Because I'm speaking to my northern brothers, because our mentality of leadership is so alarming, like it's so shocking. That's why I introduced, this is the way Fulani use religion to conquer the Hausas. Now, Buhari as a leader, under his leadership, people were killed, human rights were abused. Look at the Lekki toll gate. Look at the fraud of Nigerian Air. Look at the fraud of the Rice Pyramid. Look at 2011, where almost 1,000 persons were massacred by his supporters because he lost an election. Look at 19 trillion naira being printed, or 20 trillion naira being printed by Emefiele. Look at a lot of allegations. Tinubu, according to somebody who fought for democracy, Tinubu is saying that he's respecting Buhari. He doesn't want to probe some of these guys who looted and looted. They only found an Emefiele to become a scapegoat. Look at Hadi Sirika. Under Buhari, the impunity, the abuse of human rights. Buhari, the same person that kidnapped Umar Diko, that gave us a bad diplomatic relationship between Nigeria and the country that he kidnapped Umar Diko from. The same Buhari. Then we lost our visa free access to that country because of that kidnap. Now, number 2, you kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu according to Kenya court. You took somebody unlawfully from another country. Nnamdi Kanu. How does that man, those 2 actions now, how do we see him as an African leader? How do we imagine that he's an African leader? we know that the West, they see Africa as spoil of war, where they can come and they take your resources, buy it cheap. That is why they will advise you every point in time. Let your naira be weak. Weaken your naira. They are disadvantaged by weakening your naira. If your naira is weak, that means your resources are cheap for them to come and buy. If your naira is strong, your resources will not be cheap for them to come and buy. So the West always wants to take advantage of our resources, using World Bank, using borrowings, using OPEC. My own crude oil now, OPEC would peg amount of money because of dollar. That is why Trump is so angry with Tinubu on these BRICS. Okay, you go join BRICS, Abi. You go join BRICS. You go join BRICS. We'll sanction you, and we'll be playing politics left, right, center. All of a sudden, there's a report from West African Weekly that we will be releasing the FBI files of Tinubu on the 7th, or unredacted files on the 7th of August. Playing politics left, right, center. Nobody wants Africa to realize its potential. That's why we have Muammar Gaddafi as a hero, an African hero. He championed the African cause. In Kwame Nkrumah, they fought the establishment, they fought the West, they fought the imperialists. Who did Buhari fight? Instead, Buhari belongs to an ethnic minority in Nigeria that is willing to align with the West to destroy the country. What did he say? Monkeys and bamboos will be soaked in blood. And the West, United States, supported that scam of an election. They threatened Jonathan. I saw Jonathan going to sign a condolence register for Buhari. It is all politics, we understand. Threatening, bring back our girls. People were kidnapped, and they used that kidnap to sabotage, play politics, subsidy removal, they sabotage everything. Is that person an African leader? Because I don't see any reason why some people just come out and say, Buhari, don't speak ill of the dead. Buhari is a fulfilled man. Personally, there are two different things. That's why we have so many foolish people in Africa. The education we have in Africa does not help us to reason as we are too low in our reasoning. That's why the West, they look at us as trash. There's a difference between somebody live the fulfilled life to his family members. We understand that 82 years is no joke. But don't tell us that he was a true leader. A leader of what? He might be a true leader to a sentimental northern Nigeria, or the people who see him as God. You know, Nigeria we are divided in so many things in our reasoning. This Buhari death, now it revealed to us that Nigerians have different way we reason. The North, the way they reason is different from the way the Southeast reason, and the way Southwest, they are playing politics. They are trying to be so uncanny. Because some people say, if you look at comments from Southwesterners hitting and abusing Buhari, why some of the politicians will be saying it's not good it's not good. You're neither here nor there on this Buhari issue. The Southeast will tell you that this man did not do well. The North, they are sentimental. Like I said, the most sentimental region is Northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria, it is their own first before any other person. That is why the coalition will never take a P to B. It is their own first. They are telling you for your face. They know they hide them. Now them first. What is in it for us? What is in it for us? So everybody has their different whatever. That is why a particular region is developed. A particular region with access to power and everything, they are less developed. So what would qualify Buhari? Now, at that time, I want to know, as an African leader, as an icon, what you talked about corrupt politicians when you took over power as a military administrator, and you talk about healthcare. Now, as president, you could not build hospitals. I know you can afford, because that's how the system is designed, that only the rich has all they need to get, while the poor will just die in poverty and hunger. That's how the system operates. So when people are saying that, should we Buhari get money now? Why are you stressing yourself? They have money. The system, that is the system, their mentality is, they call it social engineering. I've said this before that Nigerians don't know what good governance is. You see, try this. Let a president enter, and Nigerians have stable electricity for 1 year. The whole of Nigeria, they have stable electricity for 1 year. Some people will be complaining because the way their mindset is engineered, they don't know what is good. It is what the leaders make them experience they see is as good. The last elections, some people were sharing rice, two grake of rice and a piece of meat. Bring your voter's card. They look at your voter's card. Okay? They give you rice and meat. They are telling you, vote for a certain person. This is, people will say, let's go and collect our part of the loot. Imagine this is happening in the US or UK or developed countries, societies that they think well. It tells you that Nigerians have mental problem. And the unfortunate thing is that majority of the people, of the foolish people, are the ones that have voters card. So the politicians will always find a way to manipulate you to sell your right. I told the parent, if you sell your vote, you have no moral right to caution your children or caution people who sell their bodies or losho or prostitutes. You have no right. You have no right. If you are one that sell your vote, sell your birthright during elections, you have no right to speak to people that are involved in OS, Olosho, or whatever, prostitution. You have no right because you are selling your body also. You are selling the future of your generation. So people just, because of religion, the Fulani were able to conquer northern Nigeria. Now, it is religious. The way Northerners are going about it, they are using religion. Do not speak ill of the dead. Only Allah. If Buhari destroyed your generation, destroyed your future, you don't have to speak ill of the dead. He destroyed the economy. He stole and stole and stole. He stole and stole. He presided over an economy that people stole and stole. He shielded terrorists. He shielded criminals. Do not speak ill of the dead. Is that what your religion tell you? So a person like Uthman Danfodio, Islam, crusade, you kill Hausa kings, you kill them, you use religion, enter them. That these guys are unbelievers. You need to kill them. You are killing them, calling them unbelievers, and replacing them with your people. You call yourself the true believers of Islam. You dominate them. The true believers that are now Hausas now, let them come back to their kingdom. You refuse. You play the politics. You always at the top. Taking their lands, renaming their lands. You go to Google. You update. You rewrite history. Because Google is what you put in. That is what it gives you. Google is not all-knowing. It is what we human beings put into Google or AI or Grok. That is what Grok serves us. It serves us the same information. You might be even politically correct than AI or Google. Because Google is what is, people are biased. So these Fulanis will go and be updating the history of Uthman Danfodio, the history of certain towns and villages that they have conquered, erase their name, and put the names of the cities they gave them. The same way. Bad leaders will be rising up from left, right, center in northern Nigeria. Don't even take action. In northern Nigeria, become an activist. There's one young man called Dandiata under the governorship of an Erufai. If you're an activist that is speaking against bad thing in northern Nigeria, religion will use religion and eliminate you. So the Fulanis came with religion. They met the Hausas. They use their manipulative style, enter them small. Holy. Allah's everything right and cool. We are brothers and sisters. We are this and that. Embrace Islam and embrace peace. This is your leader. In the Quran, this leader is involved in, and they carry their jihad. They kill the leader. They are targeting their monarchies. They are targeting their top leaders. They are targeting their powerhouse in the guise of religion. And when somebody kills your leader, kill your people, you don't have to say anything. Only Allah takes. Only Allah gives. You don't have to say anything. Nothing. The world keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Look at Northern Nigeria today. With all the 47 years of leadership, even till now, they are the most privileged. When it comes, go to CBN, go to NNPC, you go to say Northern Nigeria you did. They took all the positions. How many schools do you have in the southern part of Nigeria? How many students are coming out of our universities every now and then? How many are getting employed at the federal parastatals? How many? They use all the kind of politics on you so that you're not... My brother, it is a Latin culture, Latin proverb. You don't impose Latin on me. Don't speak ill of the dead. Is Buhari in fact, don't even call Buhari when it comes to Africa. Don't even near that area. Don't be insulting these African heroes at all. Don't be insulting it. Don't be insulting him. He's nothing compared. He's nothing close to a Nigerian leader, not talk of African leader. It's not about political correctness. It's about you standing on a truth that exists, that you believe in. If we are going like this, especially from Northern Nigeria, you have leaders that have destroyed your future, and you keep on praising those leaders. The North does not criticize its leaders. If you criticize, it's un-Islamic. You only pray for God to do. Why the leaders are doing the worst on you, that are taking advantage. The leaders are doing worse, and you are praying for God. Has given you ability to do what you need to do. You leave your ability and you allow God. So is it God that is crying that you don't have food? Is it God that is crying that you are suffering? God cannot cry for you because you refuse to do what you need to do. God gives you a conscience, gives you morality. And morality tells you that if a leader is wicked, let's say it as it is, so that other leaders can change. Nobody can whitewash any leader now in this social media generation. Nobody. In fact, the way I'm looking at it, all these leaders coming now, there's no leader that have any legacy. There's no leader. There's no leader at all.